Hey, this is a good morning. And I don't know why I started talking to you like I talked to my pup, probably because I'm on a walk with her. As usual, as per usual. I just look a little crazy and tired and all that because I just got back from a trip out to good old California, visiting some family and making sure everybody is fine after surgeries and stuff. But it got me thinking, you know, it's unfortunate, but it's something that I think that our generation deals with a little bit, and probably our previous generation deals with too, is Americans are, as a whole, and I'm American, so I don't know why I'm like making it sound like I'm not, used to traveling for family. And I always wondered how it would be if we were more like other countries where families live together for a longer period of time in the same house and there's no negative connotation to it. Everybody puts in their weight behind supporting the house, buying food, getting money, that sort of thing, watching kids. And you have built-in babysitters because families live together and they just grow and grow and grow. It's almost like a hive mind, right? Like people don't leave the hive just grows bigger. And with Americans, with us, it's a little bit more like we're told we need to go out and be successful and make our own way. And so we don't live with our parents. And if we do, there's this really negative connotation to it. And I think people, what ends up happening is I think that people get in and then they start feeling that, and then they start sort of recreating it because they feel guilty about it or something. And so then, people in this day and age, not everybody, but people in this day and age will tend to, stay living with their parents, and then they kind of feel bad about it, and then they feel guilty, and then it's sort of like the snowball effect, and then it just kind of ends up being that, society looks down on you. And I wondered, one of the things why I talk about it today, what I wonder about it is like, why did we get to that point? It's, when you really break it down, if you find a living situation that's a little bit easier for you to kind of work through, you shouldn't just take it and then run that ball down the field of lazy or being lazy or whatever. Not saying that people are, but I just think it's this, and I hate this argument, the slippery slope argument. But once you kind of do that, then it's like another step until you are, not helping, and then you don't have a job, and then you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Anyway, why I wanted to talk about it, I already said this, but I was curious about it being like, could we change that? Like, would the end, like, could Americans look at it and live with their parents and still have successful jobs and get married and have kids if that's what they wanted to do? Not that everybody needs to get married. And then could it be something where somebody doesn't feel bad about it? It seems so simple, and it seems so like, like it could be something that's easy to fix or easy to not care about. But we put such societal pressure on people that when somebody falls within this little box, all of a sudden everybody kind of like looks down on them, and it's this powerful, if you care about what other people think thing, that all of a sudden you feel like people are judging you, and you take that to mean that you can't do anything. I don't know, it's I guess I can't articulate why I wanted to talk about it, but I find it fascinating. It's something that's so interesting. And I look at my family, like my immediate nuclear family, my kids are young, but would I have that same feeling towards them if they were older, say like 18 and still living in my house? Would I just want to be kicking them out? Or would I be okay with them until they got on their feet living with me? And I think that there's this huge push to show that people are lazy because they're doing that. But I think that's what millennials have to do, or some millennials have to do, because it's just hard. It's hard for people at the moment. And it's hard for everybody at every moment, but at the same time, it's like this is their struggle. Their struggle, people that are living at home with their families right now, are dealing with society and trying to work through how do they take the next step and afford a house and live somewhere. I recently read an article talking about how there's this new influx of people that are renting homes because they don't see the benefits, the long-term benefits of owning. And they can't muster up enough cash to actually do the down payment, which is why you see all sorts of different commercials and hear all sorts of different things talking about how you could buy a house, no money down and no interest for 10 years or some crazy thing like that. Because there's this mindset of, well, we'll just rent. It's easier to budget for, and if things go sideways, I could drop out and then not have a house to pay for, and then I don't go bankrupt. And when you look at the world like that, it's like it's a weird fundamental shift. It's like they're trying to take care of business, and it makes sense. But does it make sense for them? And is it something that people are pushing for? Because then people that have money, that have land, that have houses that they own are taking it and running that ball down the court because they see the long-term benefits. Like, is it some sort of weird, nobody's talking about negative thing that in 10, 20, 30 years is going to really affect our generation and the future generation? Because then there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are not saying, long term, this is good for me. Short term, this is good for me. But if you look at the short term, so often you tend to lose. Somebody I sort of watch a lot of different things with and read about, Gary Vee, and he talks about all the time, if you're playing the short-term game, then you're going to lose. People that are in it for the long haul, willing to take a bath for the first few years, just so that they do good business and then build up their empire, can win out in greater numbers than people who are looking for short-term gain and making short-term money. I don't know. I think I jumped a couple different issues, but that's just what was rolling around in my head this morning as I'm taking my dog for a walk. And I appreciate you guys being out there listening to me. I don't know why. This is therapeutic for me, so it's good. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a good day, and I think that we should look long-term. What's the long-term goal that's going to take a little bit of work to get through? For me, it's trying to get this puppy to actually just walk rather than stop everywhere. Look, she's just sitting here. This is your exercise, dog. You got to get going. Okay. I'll leave you on a nice little note of this is going to be a great day. I mean, look at this. You can see sun's out, buns out, guns out. Let's go.